Hi, my name is Richard Greenwood, and today I'm here to interview Dr. Faroon, a scientist who's worked with many chemicals and studied how they affect humans and the environment. Chemicals like PCBs or DDT were found everywhere once, and he's worked to help eliminate that because they're dangerous to the environment. For example, this transformer here used to contain PCBs. Things like this would be made using those. Now they no longer do, thanks to his work and that of many others. Let's go inside and see what he has to say. Garrett, there you go.
Okay, my name is Dr. Faroon. I am Senior Scientist at Center for Disease Control and Prevention. I'm a Senior Health Scientist. My background, I get DVM from University of Baghdad, then a master's degree from Louisiana State University. Then I moved to Tennessee to finish my PhD and in pathology and hematology. Then I got postdoc or training like residence in Ole Miss Medical School for 3 years on environmental toxicology and pathology. Then I got a job with CDC in 1991, and since then I'm working with CDC on different projects related to the environment and toxic substances.
What do you do for a living?
My current job as a senior health scientist with the CDC, and the job is dealing with all chemicals that affect the environment and affect the human health. So what we do daily basis, we look at chemical found in the environment and we list them according to their priority. Then the most affecting people is on the top of the list, and then go gradually to chemical have no effect or they are found very little in the environment. And then we develop book which called toxicological profile for this chemical. Like this one, I did toxicological profile for polychlorinated biphenyls. And this book is search all database related to this chemical and pull all the literature, classify the literature in different chapter, public health, health sections, toxicokinetic, toxicopharmaceutical section, production, environmental levels, and the regulations. Once we have this book, all this literature synthesized and accumulated, then we do synthesis for this literature to derive a level, toxic level for human. Then we call it minimum risk level, where that level above it maybe is dangerous, but at that level or below it is good or it is not dangerous for human health. And from there, maybe other agencies take that level and derive it as or institute it as regulation or law. Like EPA take it and sometimes derive it as RFD, reference dose, and make it regulation for environmental exposure.
What are some examples of books you've worked on?
Yes, I work about 8 or 9 books, but the biggest one and the most significant one, because polychlorinated biphenyls almost found everywhere, and this is mostly of concern for a lot of people and a lot of agencies. So in this chemical there is interest from EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, FDA, Food and Drug Administrations, General Electric Industry like Monsanto, and activist group like Clearwater, and so many other organizations, national or international organizations. So that one is very important, and a lot of agencies work daily basis on it, and they call me or send me email to answer their questions or review their works, critique their works, and that's keep all working on this all the time. The second one is DDT, is the other book here, and I have another maybe 8 or 10 books additional to these things, and articles, book, chapter, and so on. This one is important because DDT is one of very active and cheap insecticide. It is used to control malaria through killing of mosquitoes. But they found out it has also polluted the environment and has some effect on the ecosystem, animal and human health. They banned it in 1972. But this chemical stayed in the environment for a long time, therefore still exposure for this chemical going on today. Some other countries, other than United States, they did not ban it, like South Africa, because the malaria is still running strong in these African countries. And if you look at the WHO and see the malaria rate is like 2 million, 3 million people infected, and about 800,000 maybe died from the infection of malaria, and mostly young kids. Therefore, the DDT is banned in most of the developing countries, which has no problem with the malaria, but in countries which has a problem with the malaria, they still use DDT to control the mosquitoes. And other insects that right now is, you can see spread of West Nile virus through the mosquitoes, and also the Eastern and Western equine encephalitis, and so many other factors. They start to spread when we limited the DDT use. And one of them is recent now issues is the bed bug. Now it has infested all hotels, a lot of hotels, apartments and houses, and become a problem for a lot of people in the United States.
Could you explain what PCBs are and their effects on humans and the environment?
Yeah, PCB is a synthetic chemicals, made by humans, not naturally found, and it is synthesized in the beginning of the last century and used in electrical capacitor because they are very good coolant. So electrical capacitor and other machines, they are good in insulation and coolant. They are not degraded very easily by high heat, therefore they are very good in that use. General Electric established a factory north of New York, and they produce polychlorinated biphenyl to use it in their electrical capacities and start to dump the extra things in Hudson River. And the people start to find PCBs not only in closed area, it is found even in the very remote area because it is evaporate, go to atmosphere and carried with the global wind and deposited by rain, like in north hemisphere or in high mountainous area where there is no human activity. So it is everywhere, everybody exposed to PCB, but in different concentration or different level.
What did you and your team do on the Hudson River?
I did not really involved directly in Hudson River, but as a chemical manager for polychlorinated biphenyls, and I work with CDC and we handle the health issues. So what we did, we divide a level, they call it minimum risk level, MRL. That level, we say this is the level which is safe or maybe is not affected the human significantly, affected the human health significantly. That level or below is okay. But above that level is not okay for human exposure. So what they did, that's what we did. Then other agencies, they come and they take that number and say, okay, if that level is, above that level is dangerous, what is the level in the soil where animal, or the water where animal drink or exposed to soil through skin absorption or eating small animal going to affect them. So they derive from that level the level of the soil. What is the level of the soil will be clean. And from there they establish a cleaning process. And that's what happened to Hudson River, where they start to drench and clean. I think the first phase is done last year or this year, and the second year, the phase started in 2011. They remove tons and tons and tons of sediments to clean the level, to clean PCBs. And I review a lot of articles, give a presentation for New York State Health Department, and also work with EPA because they are the regulatory agency to help them to derive the R&Ds.
Could you explain the difference between DDT, DDD, DDE, and their effects on the environment and humans?
The main chemical is DDT, which is dichloro, diphenyl trichloroethane. And the DDE is the metabolite of DDT. The other one, which is DDDD, is a contaminant during the preparation of the DDT. So the effect this chemical, the second one, the DDD, is not really important and not used widely, or used very limited. Is the most important one is the DDT, which is chemical found to be associated with many diseases in human, especially reproductive and the endocrine system, where it has some activity of that chemical like estrogen. Therefore, they might be associated when they find biopsy from breast, they find higher DDT in breast tissue. Therefore, it might be affecting or associated with breast cancer. So a lot of breast cancer, it being associated with a premature delivery for babies, and it also associated with as anti-androgenic effects.
What project that you've worked on are you most proud of?
I'm working on the PCB is the most proud project, and I have so many projects, throughout the years, helping a lot of scientists and training new scientists to, get a lot of articles prepared or published, and I am an assistant or associated editor for a journal called Toxicology and Industrial Health.